Welcome to Module 6, Dreams, Messages from the Unconscious. Each night as we sleep, we enter a mysterious realm where the usual rules of time, space, and identity seem suspended. In this dream world, we converse with the departed, visit places that don't exist, and experience ourselves in forms and situations far removed from our waking identity. Yet, rather than dismissing these experiences as meaningless brain activity, Carl Jung recognized dreams as perhaps our most direct channel to the unconscious mind, what he called the royal road to the unconscious. Dreams speak to us in the native language of the psyche, the language of symbol, metaphor, and image. When we learn to understand this language, our dreams become invaluable guides to self-knowledge, psychological growth, and the individuation process. Today, we'll explore Jung's approach to dreams, how they function, what they communicate, and why they matter so profoundly for psychological development. We'll examine dream structure, symbolism, and interpretation approaches that help transform these nightly journeys from curious entertainments into powerful tools for understanding. Jung's approach to dreams represented a significant departure from Freud's theory. While Freud saw dreams primarily as disguised expressions of repressed wishes, Jung recognized a much broader purpose. For Jung, dreams weren't obscuring psychological content, but revealing it in the natural language of the unconscious. At the heart of Jung's dream theory is the compensatory functions. Dreams typically compensate for conscious attitudes, showing us what we're missing, neglecting, or overemphasizing in our waking perspective. If your conscious attitude is too rigid or one-sided, dreams will present opposing viewpoints or neglected aspects of your personality. This compensatory function serves psychological balance and wholeness. Dreams don't simply reflect our conscious concerns, but actively contribute to psychological development by bringing forward what consciousness has overlooked or rejected. Jung distinguished between the retrospective and the prospective aspects of dreams. While dreams indeed process past experiences and unresolved material, retrospective, they also point toward future psychological development and potential, prospective. Dreams don't just look backward at what has been, but forward toward what might be. This prospective function makes dreams particularly valuable guides in the individuation process. They often reveal emerging aspects of the personality before these become consciously accessible, acting as scouts for consciousness as it expands into new territory. Jung summarized this understanding when he wrote, "The dream is a little hidden door in the innermost and most secret recesses of the soul, opening into that cosmic night, which was psyche long before there was an ego consciousness." To understand dreams more effectively, let's examine their typical structure. Like stories or dramas, dreams contain certain basic elements that provide different layers of psychological information. The characters in dreams represent aspects of your own psyche. While some dream figures might correspond to actual people in your life, Jung encouraged looking at them primarily as reflections of your own psychological dynamics. The aggressive stranger, the helpful guide, the child in peril. These figures typically embody aspects of yourself seeking recognition or integration. Particularly significant are figures that embody qualities opposite to your conscious identity. These often represent shadow aspects, parts of yourself that consciousness has rejected or failed to develop. Pay special attention to dream characters that evoke strong emotional reactions, as these often carry important psychological content. The setting and context of dreams provide crucial information about the psychological landscape. Dreams set in childhood homes often relate to foundational patterns or early experiences still influencing your life. Natural settings, forests, oceans, mountains, frequently connect to archetypal or collective unconscious dimensions. Unfamiliar or strange environments might represent emerging psychological territory not yet integrated into consciousness. The plot and action in dreams reveal psychic dynamics and processes. What happens in the dream often metaphorically reflects what's happening in your psychological development. Being pursued might indicate avoiding some aspect of yourself. Searching for something often represents a conscious quest for meaning or wholeness. Flying might symbolize transcending limitations or gaining new perspective. Perhaps most important is the emotional tone of the dream, the feelings experienced during and after dreaming. These emotions provide essential clues to the dream's significance and often reveal its core message more directly than the specific content. The narrative structure, how the dream unfolds and resolves or doesn't, offers further information. Does the dream reach completion or end abruptly? Does it present a problem without resolution? Does it transform from one scenario to another? These narrative patterns reflect psychological processes at work in your unconscious. Dream symbolism constitutes the primary language through which dreams communicate. Jung distinguished between personal symbols, whose meaning derives from individual experience, and collective symbols, which emerge from the collective unconscious and carry universal significance. Personal symbols develop from your unique life history and associations. A dog in your dream might carry special significance based on your experiences with dogs, whether as beloved companions or frightening threats. These personal symbols require your individual associations to interpret properly. Collective symbols, by contrast, draw on archetypal patterns shared across humanity. Water typically relates to emotion and the unconscious. Mountains often represent spiritual aspiration or challenges. Snakes frequently symbolize transformation or wisdom. These archetypal symbols appear across cultures and eras with remarkable consistency, though their specific expressions vary. Cultural influences shape how these archetypal symbols appear in your dreams. Someone raised in a Christian tradition might dream of a Christ figure, while someone from a Buddhist background might encounter bodhisattva imagery. Yet both might be expressing the self-archetype through culturally appropriate forms. Jung developed a method called amplification for working with archetypal dream symbols. This involves exploring how similar symbols appear across cultures, mythologies, and religious traditions to understand their deeper significance. When a snake appears in your dream, for instance, considering snake symbolism in various traditions, from the Kundalini serpent to the serpent in Eden, helps illuminate its possible meanings. The key to effective dream interpretation is distinguishing which elements require personal associations and which benefit from archetypal amplification. Most dreams contain both dimensions, with personal history and collective patterns interweaving to create the unique fabric of each dream. Not all dreams function in the same way or carry equal significance. Jung distinguished between little dreams, those processing daily experiences or temporary concerns, and big dreams that address core life themes and often contain powerful archetypal imagery. Big dreams tend to be more vivid, emotionally charged, and memorable. They often occur at significant life transitions or developmental thresholds, and may continue to feel meaningful years, even decades later. These dreams frequently contain striking imagery drawn from the collective unconscious and address fundamental aspects of the individuation journey. Recurring dreams demand particular attention. When your unconscious repeats a scenario or theme, it's typically highlighting an unresolved psychological issue or developmental need. The repetition suggests that something important remains unaddressed in conscious life. Often, recurring dreams evolve subtly over time as you begin engaging with their content, reflecting psychological movement around the core issue. Nightmares, while distressing, offer especially valuable psychological information. Rather than mere manifestations of fear, nightmares often represent forceful attempts by the unconscious to bring attention to neglected or threatening psychological material that requires conscious integration. The emotional intensity of nightmares reflects the importance of their message. Lucid dreams, those in which you become aware you're dreaming while still in the dream, offer unique opportunities for conscious engagement with unconscious content. The ability to recognize the dream state while continuing to dream allows for intentional exploration and interaction with dream figures and scenarios, potentially accelerating the integration process. Active imagination, the method Jung developed for conscious dialogue with unconscious contents, can be understood as a form of waking dream work. By intentionally entering a dreamlike state while maintaining awareness, you can continue engaging with dream material during waking hours, extending the bridge between conscious and unconscious. Jung developed several approaches to dream interpretation, recognizing that dreams speak at multiple levels simultaneously. These approaches aren't mutually exclusive, but complementary, illuminating different dimensions of dream content. The subjective approach treats all dream elements as aspects of the dreamer's own psyche. Dream figures, even when they resemble actual people, are viewed primarily as representation of the dreamer's psychological dynamics. This approach proves particularly valuable for psychological integration, as it encourages taking responsibility for projected content. The objective approach considers some dream elements as representations of actual people or external situations. While Jung emphasized the subjective approach, he recognized that dreams sometimes comment on outer relationships and circumstances, as well as inner dynamics. For working with personal symbols in dreams, Jung recommended the association method. This involves noting your spontaneous association to dream elements. What comes to mind when you think of a particular image, character, or situation? These associations, rather than standardized symbol dictionaries, reveal the personal significance of dream content. For archetypal content, the amplification method examines how similar symbols appear across cultural and historical contexts. This process connects personal experience to collective human patterns, placing individual psychological development within the broader context of human experience. Context always remains crucial for dream interpretation. The same symbol might carry very different meanings depending on your current life situation, developmental stage, and the specific dream context. A birth symbol, for example, might relate to actual pregnancy, creative projects, new aspects of personality emerging, or spiritual birth, depending on circumstances. Common interpretation pitfalls include imposing preconceived meanings on dream symbols, interpreting them too literally, focusing exclusively on past causes rather than future development, and failing to consider the emotional tone of the dream. Effective dream work requires both intellectual understanding and emotional resonance. When an interpretation feels right, it often creates an aha response that combines cognitive insight with emotional recognition. Dreams play a particularly important role in the individuation process, the journey toward psychological wholeness that Jung identified as the central task of human development. Throughout this process, dreams provide both map and compass, revealing where you are and suggesting directions for further growth. In earlier stages of individuation, dreams often bring forward shadow material, disowned or undeveloped aspects of personality seeking integration. These dreams might feature figures embodying rejected qualities or situations that evoke strong emotional reactions, indicating shadow content active in your psyche. As shadow integration progresses, dreams frequently introduce anima or animus figures, representations of the feminine in the masculine psyche or the masculine in the feminine psyche. These dreams often involve romantic or significant relationships with figures embodying complementary psychological qualities, indicating the process of integrating these contrasexual aspects. In later stages, dreams may represent self-symbols, archetypal representations of wholeness, and the organizing center of the total personality. These might appear as exceptional figures, mandalas, quaternities or fourfold symbols, or other images of completion and integration, suggesting contact with the deeper center of the psyche. Dream sequences over time often map this individuation journey in remarkable detail. Documenting dreams across months or years typically reveals evolving patterns that correspond to psychological development, with certain symbols transforming or resolving as integration occurs and new themes emerging as growth continues. The transformative potential of dream work lies precisely in this dialogue between conscious and unconscious, ego and self. By attending to dream communications, you participate consciously in your own psychological development rather than leaving it entirely to unconscious processes. This conscious participation accelerates and deepens individuation, making dreams not just interesting psychological phenomenon, but essential tools for becoming more fully yourself. Developing a relationship with your dream life represents an ongoing process rather than a one-time achievement. Like any significant relationship, it requires attention, respect, and consistent engagement over time. The rewards of this relationship include not just psychological insight, but a richer, more meaningful experience of life itself. In our next video, we will explore practical techniques for dream work, specific methods for remembering, recording, and working with dreams in ways that support psychological growth and individuation. We'll examine approaches ranging from dream journaling and association techniques to active imagination and group dream work. For now, I invite you to begin or deepen your relationship with your dreams by simply paying attention. Before sleep, express an intention to remember your dreams. Upon waking, remain still for a few minutes, allowing dream fragments to emerge before engaging with the day. Note any dreams or dream fragments, however brief or seemingly insignificant, as the beginning of this important dialogue. Remember that dreams speak the language of the soul, a language of image, symbol, and metaphor that may initially seem foreign to our rational daylight consciousness. Learning this language opens a channel to the wisdom of the unconscious, offering guidance that often exceeds what the conscious mind alone can provide. As Jung wrote, "The dream is the smallest hidden door and the deepest, most intimate sanctum of the soul, which opens to the primeval cosmic night that was soul long before there was conscious ego, and will be soul far beyond what a conscious ego could ever reach." Okay, bye for now. See you in the next video.